Has your outlook on life changed since your diagnosis?
Wow, that's a biggie. Do colours look brighter? Smells bring back fond memories of everything, or everything that more intense, knowing that the day that one's days are numbers? No, I can't see that's true in my case. I think that is somewhat overstated. But I do see more joy in life, where beforehand I might have overlooked it. A child's life, a child's laugh, a mother or father enjoying the moment with their own child. Maybe I'm sensitive to all that because last year I became a grandfather. I also see the opposite occurring. There's sometimes when you see mothers don't engaging with their children. I was travelling on a bus on the way to hospital appointment when I observed a child with her parents. The father was chatting away with his daughter. The grim-faced mother sitting on the other side of the aisle was clearly the discipliner. Don't do that! Right, 5, 4. I thought, I wonder what the consequence would be if she actually reached 0. There would be nowhere to go. The threat was as effective as shooting blanks. The child was delight. She was curious and chatty, and she and her dad were having a wonderful time. How much fun it would have been for all three had the mother shared in that joy. Noticeably, the child preferred staying on Dad's side of the aisle. The other thing that is apparent to me is not sweating the small stuff. It's those little daily annoyances. For example, on one occasion, we missed the bus by a hair's breadth. We reached the door of the bus as it pulled away. I could have said, we could have caught that if we had got out the door a minute or two earlier. It's always easy to pass the blame. Instead, the walk to town was brilliant. I loved it. And we were on time for our coffee morning, which is also brilliant. My thoughts of having a bucket list have not changed. Ambition is fine, but an unfulfilled ambition, once you have died, makes little difference. The now seems to hold a greater significance. Yeah, people are shocked when they hear of my news. Of course they are. I would be in their shoes. My sister died of cancer some years ago, and her life lesson to me was that we are all terminal. Cancer doesn't make it any more significant. People are dying all the time. I joke that there are only 2 things that can carry you out. That's misadventure or disease. In my case, it looks like the latter. But there are wars, there's famines, there's political exploitation, economic exploitation, catastrophes, disasters, and diseases, and death is never desirable. But other than the discomfort from my cancer pain, which is under control for most part, I am very privileged to be guided through this journey. What does cause me concern is whether I can maintain this level of capacity. What happens at the closing stages of my life? And if there's any worry, it's that.
Would you regard yourself as spiritual or religious?
Oh, I know where this is going. Is there something beyond the veil? Ultimately, who knows until we get there? The work of Dr. Peter Fenwick and others are of note. He described himself as a neurophysiologist. He and others have been interested in death, as reported by people close to the patients who are dying. They may be geographically close or distant, but emotionally bound together. A sibling, a close family relative, a spouse, or anyone in close emotionally bound relationships. Their testimonies, when describing their loved one's passing, has been remarkably similar. Clocks stop, and other strange phenomena also occur. At hospices, palliative nurses often have special experiences when their patients die. Even dying patients report on their visions, only seen by themselves of course, of relatives ready to welcome them. One common theme is that they apparently wait just outside the door. That's incredible. Terminal lucidity is an interesting occurrence. That is where patients hitherto without mental capacity become suddenly alert to say their goodbyes before quietly passing away. Then there's the whole experience of people who have technically died but have been resuscitated. They have reported having common near-death experiences. They are apparently cultural variations and deeply held religious beliefs. There are apparently cultural variations, and deeply held religious beliefs can influence the nature of the NDEs. But there are common threads throughout. That being said, I was discussing this with a few friends over coffee. One lady was most emphatic. That certainly didn't happen to me. I had to be resurrected. to be resurrected. One lady was most emphatic. That certainly didn't happen to me. I had to be resuscitated. And it was just blank, nothing. I don't believe in all that nonsense. That was disturbing to hear. Nonetheless, the serenity is a common theme. And if that is the case, I have little to fear but fear itself. I am not religious, nor am I a humanist, the latter being extolled with religious fervour. Do I have a soul, a spirit? I would like to think so. Delving around this mire, this three-dimensional experience we live in, is much like the characters on the holodeck of the USS Enterprise. Some have actually called it the Divine Matrix. Some simpler cultures have shamanic beliefs that transcend the levels of experience. It gets deep and confusing and sometimes very contradictory. And I don't know the answer to it all. Science has not cracked the puzzle of what consciousness is, or indeed where it can be found. But science has identified more than one neural centre. The brain is an obvious start. But the heart has its neural center as well. And there's the entire gut system with its neural network. Those gut feelings, those heartfelt feelings. Romantic twaddle? Maybe. But the word maybe also implies maybe not. I prefer not to dwell too much on what is to come, but to enjoy what I have now. And, I'm feeling generally joyful. The now is so precious. It's very zen, I know, but there we go.
Thank you for talking with such candor.